welcome back to our next Kitbash showcase video. Today we are going to be looking at how I made my custom Krootox riders for the all Kroot army. This is a really special video because this is actually a suggestion or a request from my first ever patron. So big thanks to that individual for suggesting this, and they've actually asked several times for a video on this, so of course I'm very happy to do that. As you guys might know, I said in another video, I do have a Patreon set up. The link will be down below. If you guys would like to support the channel in any way, feel free to check that out. I post a lot of work in progress pictures on there that I might not post anywhere else, and of course I'll take any suggestions from there if there's things people would like to see. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that real quick, and again, thanks to that individual for suggesting this. So we'll go ahead and jump in here. I'll talk really quick about what my idea and my inspiration for this was. Obviously these are very different from your standard Krootox riders. I'll have that pop up on the screen right now actually, just so people that might not know see what it looks like. I actually really like the basic kit. It is quite old, and the one thing I don't like about it is that it is mono pose. But the thing that really turned me off of it actually, and this is pretty rare, is the price, and that there's only the one pose, there's one model. But if you're making an all Kroot army, you're going to want to have a whole bunch of these. You're going to want them to be dynamic and different. So I actually looked for a long time at different ways of either kit bashing the normal one or making different ones. And it's not often with kit bashing you actually save money, but in this case I actually did. I'll have the prices pop up now. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I actually saved quite a bit buying this kit of 3 models versus buying 3 individual Krootox. And of course these are much more dynamic, and a lot of different options of how to make them all look unique, versus that Krootox that would everyone would look basically the same unless you put a lot of work into, basically snapping limbs off and green stuffing and things like that. So this kit is the Age of Sigmar Crypt Horror kit. I believe you can make several different types of model from that for Age of Sigmar. I'm not sure what they're all called. There's ones that are like Crypt Horrors with wings, and they're more like bat-like and whatever. But anyway, they're basically like big hulking bipedal monsters. And so my thoughts with this, so as you probably know, Kroot, they take on aspects of whatever the things they're eating are, and their actual physical nature will change based on that. So you can imagine these guys are like twice the height of normal Kroot, and obviously much more like thick and burly. You can imagine they've been eating a lot of big, strong, muscular things. Maybe they ate a whole bunch of orcs. And that's actually kind of what I think I'm leaning into here, is that these guys, they're isolated, they're separated from other Kroot. They've been living on their own for a long time, and they've been fighting a lot of orcs. They've eaten a lot of orcs, and so that has shaped them over time into these bigger, stronger, but also more savage and mutant-looking Kroot. Orcs grow over time the more they're fighting, so maybe these guys have taken that on, and so they just continue to grow and warp and shape the more they're fighting and eating and growing. So yeah, and so I actually wrote a little bit of lore about these, and maybe I'll have that pop up on the screen right now so you can read it. But I was thinking that basically my main Kroot army, the Jungle Wraiths, encountered these or rediscovered these on some isolated planet while they were conquering for the Tau or whatever, and basically recruited them and inducted them into the army. And so now they've got these guys working with the more standard Kroot. But anyways, so for those that don't know, Krootox rider, they're not terrible in melee. They've got a good strat to make them pretty good in melee. So I needed something that looked like it could fight and punch if it had to. And then the Krootox also have a heavy weapon or heavy gun on their back that's normally controlled by a little Kroot riding it. So I had to have a model that could look like it could fight and also have a gun. So then my idea, okay, I'm making these big burly Kroot for melee weapons. The melee weapon is like a fist, but so that could be any sort of like a blunt weapon. The kit came with this really cool bone club thing, so I knew I wanted to use that. And then for the other ones, I knew that Felix, the man that makes all our awesome 3D print Kroot parts, he made these like Kroot Power Fist things. So I knew I wanted to use some of them. So that pretty much solved that. So the hands on these two or the Power Fist things are 3D print bits. They're from Felix the Crazy or Master Shaper Felix. Go check him out if you want any like bits for Kitbash and Kroot. I also, you can see that is like a properly proportioned Kroot hand. So he makes these just separate Kroot hands that you can print for kit bashing. And so what I did was I had it printed at 1.5 size, same with the fists actually. I had them all printed at 1.5 size, and that fit this scale of model perfectly. The heads are also Felix heads, 3D printed heads, and again I had them printed at 1.5 size. And these 3 heads are actually like failure heads, like they didn't print properly, and I actually thought that was kind of perfect. It made them look more crazy and deformed and warped or whatever. So this guy especially, if you look at that, zoom in here, see how weird that head looks, how weird like the beak and the nose looks. So the whole front of his face there was all messed up. So the whole front there is actually green stuffed, and I sculpted myself to look more like almost more like a skull or more bony, and I thought that was pretty cool. Some of the quills are a little deformed. I thought that worked good too to make them look kind of crazy. As you can see, these Crypt Horror models, they've got weird like back spines, and none of them are the same. And again, I thought that added to the whole, you know, these guys are kind of twisted and not quite right. This guy here, one of the eyes didn't clear properly. One of the supports got stuck in his eye somehow. So again, that made it look more like he had 2 bionic eyes, so I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, so in order to get the heads to sit properly, you've got to do a lot of trimming and shaping of the base model, and you got to use a lot of green stuff to attach them. You got to kind of sculpt a whole neck for them. Same with the hands, you got to do a little bit of green stuffing around them. Sometimes if I mess up like this guy, I'll hide it underneath like some bandaging or some rope or whatever tied around there, and I thought that looked good. The models also don't have these loincloths. The loincloths are all sculpted by me. They've got like fur growing down there, like they got a big old monster bush going on. So I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. I would rather have that. So I sculpted them all little loincloths. You can see I've got some skulls and stuff on there. I made each one a little bit different. I've added random little bits of armor, which again I thought was very orky. So some of them have little Tau bits of armor. This guy's got an orc bit on his shoulder. The bones and stuff through their arms, that was all part of the normal kit. And then I guess the final like main piece of this here is their guns. Those are the Bulgrin grenade launcher arms, which just happen to be just the right size for these things. And so what you do is you get that, and then you have to do some trimming to get the chunk of Bulgrin arm out of there, and then obviously some green stuff work to attach it nicely. And I thought it would be kind of cool to have these guys have like harpoon launchers or spear launchers as their guns, as their, you know, Kroot are all about hunting and stuff. So I thought that idea worked well. And the spears that are in there are they're from the Seraphon kit, the Stegodon. It comes with a whole bunch of spears and javelins. It's got like a big ballista weapon on its back. And so it comes with a whole bunch of spears. So if you get that kit, you'll get a whole bunch of extra bits and things to use from there. And yeah, that's pretty much all. I mean, this guy's got a pretty rad base because there's a harpoon Tau on there. That's just your standard Tau. I wanted that Tau to look just beat the fuck up. He's got, it's hard to see with the lighting here. I'll zoom in a little. He's got one leg ripped off. He's got one arm ripped off. I green stuffed some like shattered bones and stuff in there. And his head is slashed open, and he's got a harpoon right through his chest. So this guy he just got the business. This guy just went to town on them. So yeah, I'm again thankful to my one patron for suggesting this. I'd wanted to do a video on these guys for a while. They're some of my favorite models in the Kroot army. I had a lot of fun making them. I think I'm debating if I want to do 6 more like this, or if I am going to actually buy the real Krootox and work with that and maybe make another 3 like that. But yeah, let me know what you think of these custom Krootox. Obviously, the bases they're on, I think, are a little bit bigger than the standard bases for Krootox. But overall, I'm really happy with these guys. I'm really happy with how they turned out. I think they look cool and unique, and they always do something when I bring them in game. Like, their guns are pretty okay, and if they get to fight, you know, they'll kill a couple Space Marines and stuff. So yeah, that is how these Krootox were made. Maybe at the end here, I will I'll just shut up and I'll throw some nice pictures up on there or some work in progress pictures. I think I have some showing like some of the green stuff work and what bits are 3D printed and stuff, so you guys can see some of that. Yeah, let me know in the comments any what the next Kitbash thing you'd like to see. It can be from World Eaters, can be from Kroot, or if you have any other video suggestions, maybe if you'd like to see how I paint something or how I sculpt something. Oh, really quick before I forget, I'll show a size, and this is a sneak peek at what's to come for next year. I have a couple of my space pirate army here to give you a sense of scale. So these guys are guardsman sized. So here's one with a peg leg. Put him next to this guy. So as you can see, these guys absolutely tower over human-sized models. Here's one with a little hook hand. Yeah, they're easily 2 to 3 times bigger than humans or human-sized models. Kroot are obviously slightly taller, but they're skinny. Yeah. So, like I said, thanks for watching. This has been another Kitbash showcase. I have lots more videos coming. I'm going to try to stick with doing at least one video a week. And yeah, thanks for being here. Bye.